Hi, I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Sherri.
Let us tell you a little bit about our podcast, Lemonade and Sunshine.
We're going to be talking to real people who have made lemonade with the lemons in their lives to help strengthen other people with their challenges.
We all need to know that there's hope and light even on our darkest days. And if you've ever felt alone in your struggles, and who hasn't, come and listen and sip lemonade in the sunshine with us.
We all feel alone at times, not just physically alone and isolated, but anytime we have circumstances in our lives that are different from social norms, we may feel alone. And the examples are limitless, right? Kim, we know a lot of amazing women that have come out from difficult times and struggles better than they were before.
Exactly, Sherri. And we are going to be interviewing them, and they're going to be sharing some real things. And isn't that what we're seeking, to be real?
Yeah, to be real. That's funny. I was getting ready today, and I was just sort of had a prayer in my heart the whole time getting ready. And I had put on these fake nails last night, put them on, that's gluey kind. And in the middle of the night, one of them popped off, and I was thinking, okay, well, that's okay. I'll just fix it in the morning. So then I got the glue out, and I kept sticking them on, and they just kept popping off. I mean, really, just pop off, fall on the floor, pop off, fall on the floor. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I did all the things. And then I was like, okay, Heavenly Father, what am I supposed to learn here? And it was funny. It was like, oh, you're trying to be real, putting on those fake nails and fake eyelashes. Yep, that's me. Just we want to keep it real, Kim.
Well, we all do that. Yeah, exactly. And it takes being real and being open and honest, and being vulnerable to share hard things.
Right.
And so in advance, we want to thank our guests who are going to come on and share hard things and how they made lemonade with the lemons in their lives.
And we're hoping that we can get some feedback from people who listen to our podcasts, and, they can share some of their comments and how they've come through things or helped, they can help other people through that too.
Yeah, and we want to hear from you what topics you would like to hear about. We have a long list of topics that we've thought of on our own, but
we do.
Help us come up with some topics that you want to hear. Some of the things we've discussed are illness and adoption,
divorce,
raising
kids that maybe are addicted to things, our own addictions.
Yeah, weight. I don't know. That's one for me. I'm sipping Crystal Light, not real lemonade, because of
it's a real thing.
My weight challenges.
It's a real thing.
And
there's so many things. The topics are endless, and we know a lot of really great people, so they're going to help us out. We're excited to share those things. I think in the sharing is how we learn from one another, and we're able to open up and be vulnerable and get help that way.
Yeah, and so we'd like to tell you about our objectives for this podcast. So first is combating loneliness. And loneliness is an epidemic. So in a leadership position I was in serving women, one of the most difficult hardships for people was loneliness. And this was before COVID.
Right. Before we were actually shut down, right, Kim?
Yeah, it was before COVID. And so it made me reflect, why is that? Why, because these people weren't physically alone. And so it made me think of times in my life when I have felt lonely, those times when you're in a crowded room and you still feel alone.
Right.
And so for me, Sherri, as you know, one of those things was infertility, was one of my struggles, where I would be in a room where women were talking about birth stories or, just different things relating to that. And I felt that way. But we all have those types of experiences and challenges in our lives where we feel different from others and we struggle.
I know. And I didn't know how hard that was for anybody until I met you, and then realized when people were talking about having babies and all their kids and complaining maybe about, how we do about kids and things. And it would hurt you so deeply. And I had no idea until I got to know you better and realize that sometimes we say things, we're trying to help somebody, but we say things that are hurtful. We don't mean to. But when we're trying to help, what are the things that we can say that would help?
Right. And we all do that. And sometimes when people are going through really hard things, we don't know how to help them. We don't know what are the things to say or do that would be helpful.
Exactly.
And so we're hoping that we're going to be interviewing different women, amazing women that we know, and talking to them about different challenges that we have, and hopefully we'll figure out what will help them.
Right. And help other people who may be going through the same challenges or ones like them, or maybe they love somebody that is going through that challenge.
Exactly.
And in that way, we can help them. And we know amazing women that have come out on the other side of some of these struggles better, not bitter, but actually better. And so we want to bring that to light and make it a happy, good thing that we can share with one another.
Yes, and before we came here today, we ran into a couple people and they had their own stories. We know so many people that have stories of hard things that they've been through, and we're hoping to just share some of those.
And I think sharing is what the key is, because as social as we all are on social medias, we are not as social as we used to be. It reminds me of my grandma when I was growing up. I remember vividly that she had this big round table in the kitchen with a Lazy Susan in the middle, and my grandma would bake almost every single day. And she had this cool neighborhood, about 5 women that would come to her house every afternoon. They'd do their chores in the morning, get their kids off to school or whatever, and then they'd come over to my grandma's. They'd all sit around the kitchen table and they'd talk out their problems. And they talk about what's going on in their lives, what's happening with their kids, what's happening with their spouses, what's happening in the world. And they'd sort of solve all these problems every day. And then they'd go back to their homes and life was good. And I think it helped them because they shared with one another. And I don't know that we're sharing like that anymore.
Yeah, and we need to, Sherri. You're right. I'm glad you brought that up. I was having a hard day one time. My teenage boys were fighting, as teenage boys do, and it got pretty physical. And, there might have been a hole in the wall. I don't know.
Yeah,
but anyway,
we won't tell.
Yeah. And I was just struggling. And a friend of mine picked me up and started asking what's wrong. And it took courage to open up because you want this surface of perfect. You don't want people to know that your kids are fighting.
Right.
But I did. I opened up and I told her, and then she proceeded to tell me a bunch of stories about her kids doing the same thing. And what happened was then suddenly I felt relieved. Okay,
I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who is going through this. And maybe it's kind of normal. Exactly. Maybe I'm not a horrible parent that I think I am because my kids are fighting with each other and they're not
you were
perfect.
the first one who ever had kids fight.
Yeah, right?
Sure. That was you.
But we all do that to each
so
other.
Much.
We
Yeah,
all
totally.
do that. And we need to just stop it. It's okay to be vulnerable and to share. You know how when somebody shares something that's real in a situation where everything is kind of surfacey, and then you share something real and personal and hard, and it just changes.
And then everybody feels comfortable to open up and say how it really is.
Yeah, and this is my hard too, right?
Yeah.
And we can all share with each other. So how we can support each other in our challenges, learn from the people that we're talking to and know how to help each other.
For sure.
But also I think when we share with each other, we're making lemonade. And I have another experience. A woman named Stephanie Nielsen came to a women's conference that I attended. And she's a burn victim, for those of you that might not know, and she's written a book about it. I think it's called Heaven is Here. She had burns all over her body, and she talks about her experience. And then she said in this conference, she said, I don't enjoy sharing my story. It's hard, and it takes me back to all the hard that happened around it.
Back to
because she was in the burn unit, and she had 3rd-degree burns, and children are not allowed in the burn unit. So she was away from her children after this happened. It was really hard for her.
Hard.
And she doesn't enjoy sharing it, but she says she does it to help people. And I think that's what making lemonade, when we're talking about making lemonade, that's what it is. It's sharing our hard to help others who are going through similar things so that they don't feel alone.
Exactly. I love that. That is our goal.
Yeah.
And we have amazing women lined up with tons of different topics that can share with us, show us how they've come out better and brighter and happier. And, it is the hard things that make us who we are in life and make us the wonderful people that we've become.
I think we also need to look at how we can find joy in those hard things.
Right.
Because there is good that comes out of hard.
Right.
There is a lot of good that comes out of hard sometimes. Sherri, I also want to add that, we talked a lot about how we can make lemonade out of the trials in our lives, but I want to just talk about the sunshine for a minute. I know it's different for everyone, but For me personally in my life, the sunshine always comes back to Jesus Christ. He is the sunshine. He said that he's the light of the world, and I feel like with him and because of him, we are never really alone, that we don't have to go through life and our trials alone when we reach out to him. And it can be a daily thing where he lifts us and makes our burdens lighter and helps us to feel the sunshine again. And I know it might not be the same for everyone listening, but I just need to say that because I feel like he is the source of my strength and how I get through hard stuff and manage to see the light in it.
I love that, Kim. Thank you so much. That is beautiful. You know, it's funny. Doing a podcast is interesting because it kind of makes you feel a little bit vulnerable. And also, we don't want to exclude anyone. We want everyone who might be seeking some joy and light to find it here, whatever your belief system is.
Right.
But yeah, that is ours. And we find joy and hope and light in the Savior. But we do want everyone to know that we're accepting of people who have other beliefs. And we want to share this with anyone who is hoping to find that.
Yeah, this is for everyone. Sherri, we should probably introduce ourselves.
Yeah, that might be a really good idea. People are like, who are these women?
Yeah, right. So I'll start. I'm Kimberly. I was born in Boston and raised in southern New Hampshire. I don't think I have a Boston accent, really, but I still want to say go Red Sox. And no, I never park my car in the Harvard yard. I graduated from the University of New Hampshire with a degree in English. I love to write. I also love interior design and art and really anything creative. I love being in nature, walking, biking, hiking. My husband is French Canadian. His name is Bruno, and I will be talking about Bruno here on the podcast. We've been married 22 years. We currently live in Utah and have lived in both southern and northern Utah for more than half our married life. We love both Utah and the Northeast, where we have our roots. And we've enjoyed traveling across the country many times together. We've been to 46 of the 50 states. We have 6 kids. Our oldest 3 came with my husband. When we got married, they were 12, 11, and 9. And now they're in their 30s and married, and we have 10 grandchildren. And we also have 3 younger children that live at home and are school-aged. And I'm a stay-at-home mom, and my family is my world. And I believe that serving others is what brings us true happiness and joy, and is really what life is all about, and how we can become more Christ-like. And personally, my faith is what's at my core, and it guides me in all that I do and has guided myself, and likewise for Sherri, I'm sure she would say, to do this. It's our sincerest hope and desire that this will help us all to be a source of comfort and peace and to feel less alone and to see the sunshine even in our struggles, and that we can become better, not bitter, which is Sherri's coin that she phrased.
I want to say better, not better.
Yeah, Sherri's phrase that she coined. Better. I just said it the flip away around.
That's okay. We need to get used to that. This is how this is going to be. Not perfect.
And we're not perfect. We're real. That's our thing. No,
we are real. A little too real sometimes. All right. Well, I'm Sherri, and I was born in Missoula, Montana. I moved to Hi. Have we met? Here we go. Hi, I'm Sherri, and I was born in Missoula, Montana, and moved to Utah, kicking and screaming when I was around 13. I didn't want to leave my beautiful mountains and trees in Montana. And Kim took all my likes in her bio. So probably why we're friends. But I can also add to my list dancing and music and yoga and Tai Chi. Oh, and theater. It was actually in a high school production of Fiddler on the Roof that I met my heart, John. And we were cast as husband and wife in Fiddler on the Roof way back when. And suddenly, after I met him, I liked Utah a whole lot more. We were high school sweethearts and have been married for 39.5 years. And it all counts. So I'm counting it all. We have 5 truly amazing children, really, though. And they, along with our 7 beautiful grandkids, are the most precious parts of our life. I've worked in several jobs over the years, but my love for acting and voice work is the work that I am most happy doing. I've been a radio host for an international radio station, and I've done voiceovers and also have voice acted in some audiobooks. So I guess the theater bug never really left me. For many years, I've been thinking, what can I do to help women? And is there something that I could do to help elevate and uplift others? I see how life is full of challenges and very hard things. And like most women, I want to reach out and be a light, an extension of our Savior's love. I hope that by us being real, by talking about the hard stuff, by listening and sharing our experiences and how these things have molded us, that we'll be more empathetic and be happier people. And so that's my story.
Thanks, Sherri. Yeah, we both have those desires of our hearts to help others and combat the loneliness in this world. We've been friends for 18 years now, Sherri?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep.
So we both can still remember the day we met. We were in the church parking lot, and later we got to live next door to each other, which was awesome.
Yep. As soon as I met you, I was like, I know we're going to be friends. Just knew it right off the bat.
Yeah, I know. I felt the same. And we got to live next door to each other for a while. And then I thought that was going to be our forever home. I loved it, but our paths took us a different way. We ended up moving back east again and now back out to Utah. And so Sherri and I will be friends. We'll be like those old ladies who just are still going.
Talking and neither one can hear each other.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, that's us. So Sherri and I also want to give a disclaimer that we are not doctors, counselors, or professionals.
Yeah, and we don't play them on TV either. So.
Yeah, we're just keeping it real.
We're real people being real.
Yeah,
people.
We're just being real.
Well, hey, thank you so much for hanging out with us. That concludes our introductory episode here on Lemonade and Sunshine. Please join us for our next episode where we will be talking to some amazing women about infertility. That is next on Lemonade and Sunshine. We would love to hear from you.
Yes, we really would. So please give us your feedback.
And let us know if there's any topics you'd like us to cover.
And how you have found the sunshine with the lemons in your lives.
And how do they give us feedback, Kimberly?
You can find us, Lemonade and Sunshine, on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple iTunes. Please give us a review and rating. It really helps us as a new show.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely does. So until next time, we hope that you can feel the sunshine.
And we hope you will tune in next week to Lemonade and Sunshine.